Hello, everyone. Thank you for being patient with old Mert here. Welcome to Mert's Journal, where this channel's all about creating journals from scratch to share an ancestor story. And what we're working with here are several samples, and we're actually going to make a journal cover today, a new way for old Mert here. So this journal is held together by something called sari silk. Yep, from an old sari. And I'm not sorry, you're sorry. Joining me today is Katie. Thank you for being here, Katie. You're such a great moral support.
It's okay.
It's just charming. And over on the YouTube side, Cousin Russ is watching things. Let's see who's there. That's how we got all the information about this. Well, hi, Mike. Good to see you. And Donna is there. And thank you, Cousin Russ, for alerting me to the fact that they couldn't hear us. So it's all good. Okay. So this is a very simple journal. It just folds over, and there's a tuck spot here and here to put journaling cards that you can write on the back of. And this is a different kind of a spot to journal or to tell that ancestral story. And that's on these little slips of paper on this little tablet I made. And so that's what I'm doing, is playing around with journals and fabric. This is actually fabric, if you can believe it. In fact, all three of these samples are fabric. Okay. This one's also a fold-over journal. The spine is just the fold at the back. A lot of embellishment, 3D embellishments on the front to go. I just picked different butterflies and things that go with the fabric. Inside, we've got a couple of interesting elements. We do have, let me move this guy out of the way. We do have a little flip, so a little story could be posted here, probably on coffee dyed paper. And this little envelope will open up and reveal a little journaling card inside here. I can get it out. Okay. And they can be embellished with any sort of fabric, paper, any kind of ephemera that you could have made, such as the clusters we make with Heather. Now, speaking of Heather, that's why we're over here on Mert's Journal YouTube channel today. I can tell you that she has very sketchy internet. Hi, Andrew. He said he found us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Took us a minute to get started, but it's all good. And thank you, Donna, for saying it's beautiful. Now, this particular journal, in addition to this interesting little spot, has a tuck spot with a journaling card. And it has tea-dyed paper on the back on which to journal. And I like all the variations of color here. Katie, did I welcome you to the show today?
Yes, you did.
I don't know. We started like 3 times till we finally got it down pat. Okay, good. Here's a little tab to open up this particular set up. Oh, and it flips out like this. It's been a long time since I looked at that. I have to remember. Now, I haven't actually used this journal. This is a prototype so that I can remember, hey, you could do something really cool like this again in the future. Had so much fun making it. So we have a tuck spot here with another journaling card. And this is a pretty big journal for Mert because normally I only need about 4 pages to tell one ancestor story. Okay. And there's a little interesting kind of a paper clip. And there's a fold down little secret spot. I got really crazy when I did this one. This is an amalgamation, Katie, of about 5 videos that I've watched.
Yeah, that's it. You pick up a tip here, you pick up a tip there. That's right.
Totally. totally get that. And here's another journaling card. And on several of these, I've used my sewing machine. Believe me, I bought an inexpensive Brother sewing machine because I didn't want to use my embroidery machine to do this, because
Yeah.
that's kind of heavy work, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the concept of having a journal. Let me show you what I plan to do today. And I learned this from Wendy of Wendy's Journal Adventures. And once I've edited the comments or the description below this video on YouTube, I'll be able to insert the link that shows you where Wendy's Journal Adventures is found. So to do this project, I'm going to need some Collage Podge and a brush, just a El Cheapo brush, no big deal, okay? And part of why I have to do it this way is that the fabric I want, and this is my favorite color, aqua. I don't know if you can see my hand through it, but I kind of can.
Yeah.
It's very loose weave, okay? So I have some canvas, which I got from Hobby Lobby. This is fairly well you can find this anywhere, basically, any fabric store, general purpose fabric store. I don't think you could find canvas at a quilting store because this is pretty thick. All right. And so because this is very thin, the cover of it, I wanted a thick binding on the inside. And so we're going to take the Collage Podge and squirt it on here. So this is a good question from Andrew, and I'm going to talk about it while I'm applying the Collage Podge. Ever thought about doing a journal to introduce a family, one page per for each parent and child? Now, yes, that is a very great possibility, but here's what my thinking was. I get nervous. I mean, if I was going to write a genealogy book about our family history, I'd write a genealogy book. But a whole book is a little bit scary to me. I might work up to it, Andy. You know me, I'm a little bit crazy. I might work up to it, but the concept of just doing one mini journal at a time is much easier for me to swallow. I can see the project, and I'll show you one in a minute, and figure out what to do. Now, I put way too much stuff on my canvas, so I'm just using some paper towel to get rid of it. Okay. Now, Wendy uses Mod Podge, but I don't even keep Mod Podge in my craft room anymore because it's sticky. Even when it's dry, it's sticky, and I don't want that. Okay, let me get right to the edge there. All right. And we'll put this in my water, throw that away. Okay, we pretty much, I missed a little spot. Let's see if we can do it there. Okay, now this is going to be a 10 by 6.5 journal. And I'm now going to put the paper on it. Lucy, I just realized that my opening has the same music that you like to use on your intros, upbeat. So I will change it because you have first rights, first dibs on that. There we go. But at least I tried to do intro music, not quite as dynamic graphics as our Heather girl does. And I sure hope she's having a great vacation. All right. All right. Now, we could use a brayer if this were bigger or if this fabric weren't as thin as it is. Let me get this off my fingers. And what Wendy has us do is take this and fold it over, even though we're not planning to stick any parts of it together. It's just to let it dry with a roll for this spine. Not a fold, but a roll this time around. Now, what I will do before we meet on Thursday, this will have dried overnight. I'll trim it so it's a little neater, but I'm going to sew all the way around this with a zigzag stitch on my Brother machine. All right, so I'm setting this aside. This is the project I want to show Heather when she comes back on Tuesday next week. Oh, you're sweet. Heather, what's going on, Russ? A note from Heather. Hi from Heather, on vacation with no internet. Thank you, Heather. So she can't watch us. So
No.
while the cat's away, old Mert will play along with Katie. Okay. All right, let me put this here, and I think I'll let it sit on that plastic. All right. So you get the concept of the journal. Thank you, Lucy. No need to change it. And Barbara, welcome. So good to see you here. And oh golly. Let's go see. Are you at a point, Katie, where we can look at what you're doing today?
Yeah, you can take a look and get an idea of what my plan is.
Okay, let's go for it. All right. Oh, you're doing a different kind of a spine, aren't you?
I am doing a box from a cracker box,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this will be like this.
Yes.
I will put in signatures into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm decorating the front right now. This is fabric or to strengthen this area. And then eventually, what I plan to do, this didn't come out, but there's some more experimenting has to be done. There will be on the pages, there will be these little pockets with clear. And let me stick something in the pocket. These are, you keep the ephemerals in here and you store them. Pages you can flip through and find
You know,
things in these pockets.
that's a great idea because
It's not my idea. Found it on a YouTube video.
so
Take no credit for anything.
I was cutting out a lot of shabby dabby doodahs ephemera in the way of numbers and letters, and all I had to stick it in was an envelope. Well, you can't see what's in it till you dump it out.
Yeah,
So you're basically making a journal that's going to hold all these kind of little snippets of butterflies and birds and numbers
right.
and things like that. So totally love that. Now, what did you use for the clear part?
The clear part, what I used was these cheap page protectors. I just cut a piece off,
Oh,
attached it. Here's
perfect.
a piece of scrap or some of your papers. I have plenty of papers.
Yeah.
So I cut the papers to the pages are here.
Yeah.
So this is how this will kind of go. Let me stick this out of here for a minute. It's wet. I will stick down maybe two to a page, probably two to a page.
Yeah, because some of your things will be taller than my little teeny baby things here.
And them in the pockets. There'll be a pocket
Perfect.
here and a pocket down here. And you'll just stick your things in there. And that way, when you go to find, you can look for it. You could make one, like you said, one pocket on one page for the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Make a larger card with a larger piece of plastic and slide those things in.
I think that's wonderful. Now let's talk about your spine. Um, you've got, let's see, there we go. All
This
right.
is all fabric on the inside. I
Uh,
just put a piece of
okay.
fabric down. But this is
Okay. And the fold lines are right on the edge of, I mean, they're the fold lines from the cracker box. Okay. And then what about the
No,
outside
these
of the
are not
spine?
actually, no, these are not actually the fold lines from the Cracker Box because I thought the Cracker Box was a little too wide.
Oh,
So I cut out the part that you wouldn't fold, where you would have folded. I took the
yes.
side that was already open, that
Yes.
had the boxes attached at the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and I cut this back and glued the other part in so that I had it about an inch smaller
Okay,
because
because
this
it
was
would have been a
going to wide.
humongously heavy
Yeah,
journal otherwise.
but you do
Okay.
want space because there's going to be pockets in there that's going to make it very bulky.
Yeah.
You want some
Wow.
space, but you don't.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
made it a little in here. It's a little narrower. If you
Okay.
see,
And then you covered it with more of that white fabric?
yeah, muslin. It's just muslin. I'll
Yeah.
decorate it later. But to give
Mhm.
it was when you're going to put the holes in it for the signatures, you
Mhm.
need something that's going to hold. The
Mhm.
cardboard will give. It will not, you know.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we understand ephemera and that it helps. I mean, I printed out these little things. And if I left them on the 8.5 by 11 paper, I'd be lost. Whereas now I could file it with all the black ones here, all the blue ones there, of small, medium, and large, etc. This is to remind me it's from Shabby Dabby Doodah. Um, I love the use of the top loading sheet protector for the see-through part. Did you glue the see-through part on to make the pocket, or did you sew it on? How did you attach
Actually,
it?
I tried gluing it on this morning because of the fact that I wanted to see how that would work because I know a lot of people don't sew.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody doesn't have a sewing machine sitting here that'll bite them
Mhm.
if they.
Mhm.
But so I tried that. It's not working out that well. Maybe different glues, maybe a heavier plastic. It might take some experimenting.
Mhm.
What would be more because here it kind of I don't know. It's glued. It's down. It just bubbled up some for some reason. It didn't. It was flat when I started.
Well, that's where the dictionary comes in handy.
Yeah,
Press it under the dictionary. By tomorrow it'll be fine.
be the answer
Yeah.
because this and I think well this is going to be glued down to a page too. So I don't really want to make it too thick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
glue it down to a page also.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, let me show you the journal I'm making this week for 52 things. 52 things is where every week I make a mini journal, which Andrew is probably why I'm under stress. And what I'm dealing with, excuse me, heavens to Betsy. Okay. What I'm dealing with is a card that I found in my dad's top drawer of his dresser when we were clearing out the house after he passed away. Blanche had already passed away 9 months before that. Have a happy birthday, son. In it, I found two things: a picture of Grandmother Myrtle and my dad playing checkers. Now, and Blanche even wrote on the back, at 7933, that's the address of their home. Playing checkers in dining room when it was red. That wall used to be red. And then, dearest Glenn, I love you dearly, even if you do beat me at checkers, mothers. Now, and then the thing is, it's one of those little, you go to the dime store, which we don't even have anymore. It's called the dollar store. And they have funny little kids' toys. It's a checker set. Now, grandmother had money, dad had money, but this is what she gave him for his birthday that year. So, I thought I'd do a different kind of a journal. And it involves just tying together parts of this handkerchief, neckerchief, black and red is our theme. I don't know. It's a little bit big though. So I want to be able to just tie it in the middle. So I think I'm going to cut it down. And this is not even going to be glued. Very different, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very different concept, but it works.
It will work, theoretically, possibly.
Well,
All right. Okay, I'm going to cut it down this far and hope that's reasonable. Okay. And we shall see what we shall see. I mean, I do have another one of these neckerchief things if I mess up. However, the thing about journaling and all the, they call it junk journaling, is you just use bits of ephemera that you make. Let's see, this needs to go about here. Let's see. Needs to be twice as big. All right, let's make this longer. It's going to be slightly askew. But you make it out of, well, you know, the junk mail that you get? Have you started saving just about everything, Katie?
oh, unfortunately, everything I see now, I see in a different light.
Yeah, I hear you.
I found some movie tickets the other day that were in a drawer. I went, oh, I could use these.
Yes, we could totally use those. All right, I think I cut it too small after all that because I really, well, let's try it this way. I can't tie it in the middle. Yes, I can barely. But it's still, I think it's too small. Well, let's try this. What if we did this and folded it? I don't know. I don't like that.
How about if you fold it in first and then over? Do it the opposite way.
Oh, okay, that's a thought. Fold it in. Fold it in. What I want is an interactive experience for the grandchildren when they come over. Okay, there's part of that. Let's do
And then
this.
bring it like an envelope down, like an envelope.
Yeah, I could do that. I could make it an envelope. It wouldn't be hard.
No, you could even sew it into an envelope.
Yes, I could sew it into an envelope, and let's see what happens if we do this. This is the exact width. All right, so we are going to do some gluing. I don't know. Just so much fabric here. I'll try it again.
Yeah, you might be able to take a little more off.
I,
Not too much.
yeah, let me see if this, I know. I want this to, oh, somebody's doggy wants attention. Huh?
My dog wants to kill the mailman every day.
Oh, dear.
She has a cliche.
I hear you. That's what it is. Dogs and postmen. Okay. So I'm trying to cut off the excess before I actually do the gluing. Okay.
I have a theory on why dogs chase mailmen.
Why is that?
They come to the door every day and no one ever lets them in.
Oh, so they're not welcome.
So there must be something wrong with this person. They never open the door and let this guy come in the house.
Well, okay, that's reason enough. Although I think dogs don't need reason sometimes, but all right. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue along here, and I'm going to actually, rather than fabric tack, I'm going to use art glitter glue, although normally I would use fabric tack because this is fabric we're dealing with. I just don't want to get this wet with glue if I can help it. Oh, come on. I'll try this one then.
Lucy had a good suggestion too. She said that you could wrap it around and use the extra fabric you cut off as a tie.
Well, that's a great idea.
Very good idea.
Oh, man, this is like crowdsourcing. It is crowdsourcing. All right, let's try that.
Takes a village.
It does. All right. And I've got two pieces here. Let's just got one. I kind of like this border fabric, don't you?
Yes.
And the fact that this is very irregularly cut, I'm not turning over the edges or anything like that. Oh dear, it stops here. Let's see how that works. I may have to sew it together. Oh no, that'll work. Okay. Now I've cut this. I've got to get my glue to work is what I have to do. And it is not cooperating. I hadn't anticipated using this glue. We may have to resort to fabric tack. Okay. I have a new bottle. Okay. I like the idea of gluing, and I also like the idea that you've suggested. Oh, gee willikers. Does everything happen at once? Yeah.
Nice.
All right, just a second. All right. Here we go. Okay. There we go. I didn't cut the top part enough. There we go. Now we've got the glue coming out. Okay, so I really don't want to damage this. I'm going to put it there. Fold this up and hope we are in the ballpark. Yes, we are. Yep, good. Now I've got to do a similar thing on this side. It's going to be tricky since I already have that part glued down. Let's move it. It's wet for a long time. Okay, here we go. So the other day I saw you working on a journal cover, and you decided instead of putting flowers on it that you were going to bring this in. You check okay, that you were going to collage on it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I have that right here also.
Okay, let me move the camera over to you. Now that I know how to do that in StreamYard.
I went to my go-tos, which are always my jelly prints. I
Yes.
still take some of them out. These purple ones are the napkins. Remember when I jelly printed on the napkins?
Oh, yes, yes.
So I just cut out pieces of the napkin with the purple and came up with some floral shapes around.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be turned into the journal, like I said, that I'm going to put in elastic bands in here. And then journals will fit into this one.
Now so we call the pages, and we group them. We call them typically, signatures. And let me move that. And in doing so, we have choices of sewing them in or gluing them in. And you're going to use elastic for a very interesting reason. Tell them why.
Well, I feel this way, if you, instead of taking the whole journal with you, if I were to go, I like to go into New York City. I like to sit in the park in the summer, and I can draw in the park. I can, I could even sit and write in the park. I mean, it's beautiful, Bryant Park in New York City.
Yes.
And I can take the journal, one of the journals with me, a piece this big, say.
Yes.
Just take it, stick it in my pocketbook, and when I come back, I can slip it under the elastic band and put it back into the journal.
So you don't have to take the whole journal with you.
Instead of taking all of this with me, I can remove this, take it with me. This will have a cover on it, a thin cover, probably made out of the same material. This is what do you call it? A folder.
Yes.
It'll probably be a folder cover put on this. I might even sew that into the folder cover.
Once you're done.
No, this individually, there might be individual ones that have a folder cover on them. And then when I take them out, that'll protect them in my pocketbook.
Okay, got it. All
Then
right.
I would slip them back in here with the rubber band, with the
Mhm.
elastic band,
Mhm.
and they're in here again,
Okay, cool.
which is, a new, well, not a new concept. That there are other people who make these journals where you slip them in under the band. But I
Okay.
like the idea of removing them so that you could take them with you and make them more portable.
Mhm. Now you are adding what? Gesso? What are you putting
Oh,
on
this
your
is a craft smart paint from Michaels,
Yes, yes.
white pearl, and it will give this blue. The blue will come through. You can see it's already coming through,
Mhm.
and it
Mhm.
will give it like a beautiful sheen,
Mm,
which I think is very nice.
I like that.
And then I will maybe put butterflies or something. I will, collage onto that.
Okay.
Do I have? Let's see. Do I have one of the cards? I have a couple that I rejected that I didn't want to send out. Oh, here's one. Here's a piece. This isn't one. This was yeah, this is one actually. One of the ATCs for the Under the Sea.
Yes.
Here's the background of this was done this way.
All right.
Oh, oh,
Bring it up closer to your camera and then turn it on various angles so we can see the spark. Oh, got it. Yeah.
you see that's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Okay.
pretty.
Cool. I agree with you, Donna. We need an extra pair of hands. We do. And Donna said, well, this is Lucy who said, so clever, Katie.
You know whose idea who I got this from, Lucy? Cece. Cece does, I don't know if you've seen, Cece does this where you take a watercolor that came out really bad and you don't like it. She
Mm-hmm.
says, she says, paint over it with, I think she says gesso,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where this came from. I created that. I have them in my book. I have them on Instagram, the tulip like things I put up that I cut out. That was
Mm-hmm.
Cece's
Mm-hmm.
idea. That was totally her idea. And then the idea of painting over the watercolor
Mm-hmm.
followed. And then using this was just something I happened to have, and I used it, and I love the sheen it gives.
Wow. I like that. We can handle things like this, can't we?
Yeah,
Oh
it,
dear.
it's all a jumping off point. That you think of one thing and you come up with another, and you're saying, "What if I did that?" You know.
I know that's the fun of it. Let me bring us back to my screen for a little bit.
And
And um, I'll show you what I've got and what I had to do. Again, we were dealing with very porous fabric. And so in order for the glue not to stick on the part of the envelope that will hold the card, I had to insert some plastic, and I just found some in the garbage actually right next to me. I have this
mhm,
432-gallon garbage thing right here under my desk.
mhm.
Yeah. So what we were dealing with was the structure for the envelope is really going to be what we put in it, but it's not quite dry yet. It's almost dry. So I cannot go forward, but I'm thinking about what to do with this cover. And I may glue that. Um, it's uneven, but I don't care that it's uneven. I just like that we're trying new stuff. All right.
Good experiment.
So do I want to angle this? It comes down flat, and then let's see where's our strip? That's the short strip. The other one, okay. Well, we'll take this strip to tie it, and we could just tie it right there. Okay, so I just want to straighten it up a little bit. Oh, I have an idea. I have to say, I have to have room for me to say something about this. So how about if I get some coffee dyed paper and glue it here so that it will provide some substance
Put it on a piece
for.
of cardstock.
Yeah. Okay, let me go get some cardstock. I can do that.
Get some weight to it.
Yeah. It's a good thing I have a wireless mic. Heather said that would save my life. And in this case, yep, it is. Cardstock's a great idea. And I have some.
If you want to give it the look of the dyed paper, you could just tear around a piece and glue it onto that cardstock.
Yeah, now this, I agree that normally I do that, but this is very close to the background of the card, so I'm just going to cut it straight. Just have to figure out about where to cut it. So, and I don't know if I'm going to add any color to it. Okay, and we'll cut that. Let me go over to my cutter, which is behind me. Oh, we're getting this done with a little help from my friends here. I love it. Okay, how's our time?
We're at 1:44.
Okay,
That's my time, not yours.
I know, I got it. All right, let's see if this is the right size. Yes. Normally I cut the corners into I round them off, but I think I will not. Oh, and I want to I'll tell you what, I want to fringe this and not have it go all the way to the edge. So let me do some adjusting here. Because fringing sounds very cowboy-ish or whatever, since this is a neckerchief. Okay, and we'll do this as well. Well, we got to cut the whole thing slightly shorter.
Fray.
Yeah, fray the edge. Yeah, make the little fringy part from the fabric itself. Okay, so we're going to cut this because that's going to be the fringy part or the frayed edge in a second. Okay, probably take me 10 minutes to do the fraying. Okay. So what we are doing here is just pulling the threads out. I love that type of pearlescent paint you're using.
Well, it was sort of a situation because Michael's had so little paint available.
Oh, okay.
I was just grabbing anything I could find. I was there, and I grabbed this, and I don't even know if I realized. I knew it was white. I don't even know if I realized it was going to be this pearl sheen.
Yeah. You were thinking you needed some kind of white because that helps us get a different. Excuse me, my fingers have glue, so every one of these threads I'm pulling off is sticking. It's hilarious.
Exactly, that's what happened. The white paint, you run out of faster than anything.
Yeah, it seems we do.
Because we use it so much for mixing, and that's what happened. I was out of white paint, and I grabbed that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used it I guess, even by accident. The first time I used it, I don't even think I realized that's what it was. Can't remember when I used it.
Okay, I want to make this thicker. Yeah, so you thought we were just getting a white of some sort.
Yeah.
And it ended up being this pearlescent. So it was like a
happy accident.
Yes, exactly.
That's always the best thing.
Yes.
Those happy accidents do so much for us.
Get it. All right. So I'm thinking what I'm going to want to do once I get this situated is that in order to accentuate, well, I'm going to have to make my card smaller. I don't want it that big, but I'm thinking of putting a bit of ribbon, and I have black ribbon over in my quilting room, which is too far away for this particular thing. But
I have some right here I could give you.
oh, I know. Don't you wish you could beam it on over? Where's Scotty when we need him?
Right.
All right. So this card is now too big because I decided to shorten this. That's okay. We're going to cut off about, okay, I'll be right back. It's just over here.
All right.
You know, I'm so lucky Mr. Mert arranged this other table because he's an engineer. So he's watching me work in here one day and he said, "Would it help if we put a table more in like the middle of the room?" Because he saw me lifting this big thing. This is heavy. This thing is heavy. It weighs 15
Oh,
tons. And what do you get? Another day older and definitely a sore shoulder. Yeah, I hear you. All right. So now let's see how this is going to work. All right. And let's see if this is all dry. Yes, it is. So before I actually put this part on, I'm going to stick this part in and see how it's working. Okay, we have a little problem there. We've got to get it under there. Okay, it will work. All right, got it. Yeah, I don't need to have a dislocated shoulder, that's for sure.
no.
Nobody needs that. And Cousin Russ, you have been working in your garden, and it looks marvelous. Here we go. All righty. I'll put this right here. Just check it again. I'm anxious about it. Okay, good. Come on, glue. Oh, that's right. I'm using my fabric tack. I prefer art glitter glue for almost everything. There we go. All right. Do you hold your tongue when you're doing something a little bit stressful, like trying to get this to line up? I do.
Yeah, I do these things. Faces I make.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be able to put this in here. I think we'll put a little glue there.
Did your mother ever say to you, if your face ever froze?
No.
My mother used to say that all the time. She'd say to me, if your face ever froze like that.
Oh, that she did that about our eyes, that we couldn't cross our eyes
Oh, yeah.
because if our they would be frozen that way. And I have never heard of a single person whose eyes froze.
I've never heard of anyone whose face froze.
Oh, our mothers.
I don't
That
know if I've heard of anybody who ever had their eye put out by anything.
I know. That's true. My brother got one of those guns at Christmas. And oh, it made my mother mad. But we didn't have the dog come through the kitchen and take the Christmas turkey. So, all right, that's as far as I can go right now because things are still wet. But you get the concept that I wanted the red and black to go with the red and black of the checkers, and I want this to be left so that they can pull it out, look at the back, go exploring. In the world of genealogy, for years, people would send a family group sheet that just listed the parents and the children and their birth and death dates, and maybe a pedigree chart. Well, this is a little more interesting because what you're getting is this is my dad, that's his mom. They played checkers. And actually, grandmother taught me to play checkers. Do you know what giveaway is? It's the
Mm,
it's the opposite of checkers. In checkers, the point is to try to take the other guy's things and keep your own pieces.
yeah.
And giveaway is you try to force the other guy to take yours, and whoever has no little plastic checkers wins. So and she taught me this. And she's crazy for checkers. She also taught me to play solitaire with a deck of cards. Did not involve a computer.
Yeah, right. We played
Anyway,
solitaire for years.
yeah, that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, but let's see if we have any more comments to bring in. Looks good. This time I learned how to bring comments in, and I learned using StreamYard that I have to actually log in on the YouTube side, even though I've already set it um, with an event. There we go. So I've learned a lot, and I appreciate you all sticking with me today. Next Thursday, next time we meet, we'll see the finished product of this journal. Very unusual. And then we will see what on earth comes of our gluing that aqua fabric to the heavy canvas. And I think I have some of the elastic like you're planning to use. So
Yes.
maybe we can demonstrate that on Thursday
Yes.
so
I
people
have
get the
some
hang of it.
elastic here. Yeah, I have elastic here too somewhere. I know I have it. That's where I got the idea.
Yeah. So it's a great alternative.
But
All righty then.
switch the camera one more time. I want to give you an idea of what I plan
Oh,
to do
yeah.
with
Oh,
this.
sure. Let me move it over there. Okay. Ooh, pretty. Wow.
So there will be a lacy
Uh-huh.
line situation here.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Oh, I can't wait to see how this turns out. This is so fun.
That's where
All right.
it
Yeah. All
is.
right. This is good.
Oh, one thing I wanted to point out right here. This is my little lesson
Mm-hmm.
for the day. These are little violets.
Yeah.
They grow out of the cracks in the sidewalk in my driveway. And right now I love them. By August, I'll be cursing them because I'll be pulling them out as weeds. But
Oh,
anyone who's wondering about how we're going to survive, they do.
they do. We've got to study those little, like violets. I have some, but I guess mine are pansies, not violets.
These are wild. They grow out of the cracks in the sidewalk every year in my driveway. And then in the spring, I love seeing them. They're beautiful little pansies. But once the flowers go, there's these ugly leaves, and they're coming out of the cracks in the sidewalk. It looks nasty, and I have to keep ripping them out. But they
Oh,
come out every year.
oh gosh.
They
Well,
always
I
back.
love it. I love that you shared that from your
And we
garden.
have to learn to bounce back too, no matter what life hits us with.
Boy, that's for sure. I'm
They
so
get us.
thankful for this technology so we can become friends with people from all over the world. And
All right.
it does give us pause to consider what did our ancestors do when they were on their 160-acre homestead out in the west with 5-foot drifts of snow. It's no way of communicating. So we're kind of spoiled by this technology. But
We
it's
might,
all good.
they were living in their time and they knew how to do that, and we're living in our time. We have to learn to do that.
We have to learn. That's true.
That's the answer.
Well,
We have to adjust.
thanks for being my crafting buddy today. I appreciate it, Katie.
Okay.
Nothing left to say, but happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap. And journaling.